Today we're going to be looking at adult carer support plans, and we've come down to Borders Carer Centre to meet with Debbie, who's going to tell us how it's all going on here just now. So can you tell us, how does adult carer support planning work in the Borders?
Well, the Borders Carer Centre started doing the assessments, as they were called, in 2012. Social work had previously been doing them, but I think there's something really important about the adult carer support plan being done independently. Carers can be honest about the situation and not really have to sugarcoat things in front of the person they're caring for. And just for that information and that advice to be independent, I think gives the best outcomes for carers. So we started doing them in 2012. The name was changed from assessment to support plan about a year ago, and it just previous to it becoming law in the Carers Act. And the increase that we saw in the uptake was 25%, so it was a fairly sizable increase just purely by changing the name from support plan to support plan from assessment.
So when it became a statutory duty under the Act, it was a natural progression for the centre to continue doing that?
It was really, we'd always been having those kind of conversations with carers, so not an awful lot changed really in that respect. We worked with carers and the Carers Advisory Board, who the sort of overarching body for all the support plan and all the information and everything that went into the Act as well, and with social work and health, and devised the support plan with the carers' input. So they have really been very instrumental in how that looks and how the questions are asked, and the way to get the best outcomes really. So it's been a very positive experience for everyone involved really.
And were there any concerns about the carer centre taking on what's a statutory duty now?
No, I would say there wasn't. We have a very good working relationship with health and social work. We've always worked very, very closely with them. And no, I think probably the biggest challenge for us has been just the sheer volume of work. It's, the team are under a lot of pressure to complete the work. We get probably about 50 referrals every month from health and social work, on top of the other referrals that come from other areas as well. So it's very, very busy, but we really wholeheartedly believe that this is absolutely the best way to do it and the best way to get outcomes for carers.
Okay. And what difference are these adult carer support plans making for carers?
They do seem to be really happy with them. I mean, it is very much a conversation. We didn't want it to be a ticky box situation, and carers were very clear about that. They didn't want to feel they were being asked just a series of questions. So it is a conversation, which it always has been, but the information that comes from there now is more kind of focused. And carers, we just actually produced our carer service evaluation, and we asked carers who'd had a support plan within the last year for their feedback, and 99% of people said that it was a positive experience that had made a big difference to their life. So that was a really good piece of evidence. A couple of quotes from carers. One of the carers said, "I honestly can't see how I would have coped with the demands of the pressure of my life over the last 5 years if it hadn't been for the support from the Carers Centre." And another carer said, "It's really taught me to think about myself rather than constantly thinking of the person I care for, which for me has been a really steep learning curve." So really positive outcomes for people.
And how are you guys managing the eligibility criteria now that goes along with adult carer support?
It's been done in conjunction with the Carers Advisory Board, Health and Social Work, and here at the centre as well. So it's in place now, and it's working well. And we meet with the carer. A lot of the time, carers will have already been supported anyway before it gets to that stage for eligibility criteria. If we can get involved early, then obviously put in a lower level of support so things don't get to a crisis situation, and at least we've built a relationship with a carer that we can recognise if that comes along. But if it is getting to the carers eligibility criteria, we look at it with social work, who we check off that it meets all the the actions on it, and then it would go ahead from there. So it's been positive.
Uh-huh. So some people have expressed concerns that carer centres doing this, it could have a detrimental impact on relationships with carers, but that's not been evidenced with you guys.
Definitely hasn't been our experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, we tend to have quite a long-term relationship with the carers anyway. Sometimes if it's a crisis situation and we're having to go in later, I think that the workforce they're very skilled in having those conversations at the right time, and we haven't found it to be a negative thing for carers or for staff at all.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think adult care support plans are working well in the Borders?
I think it's twofold really. I think because we involve carers in the design and development of everything that we do, and also because we have a very good working relationship with health and social work, it's a real team effort, and I think that's the only way really that it can work. Everyone pulls together, and it's been positive for everyone, for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So, I mean, I think it just goes to show how important collaboration in this kind of work is.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. And have there been any unintended or unexpected outcomes from this work?
Not really. I would say the only thing that maybe we weren't doing that we are doing now was we're now recording support plans when they've been offered and not accepted, because I think that's probably quite an important piece of evidence to collect, that the support plan was offered and for whatever reason wasn't taken up at that point. It may be taken up in the future, but or it may be that the support is already in place to have the support plan done, that we're giving them enough support without going through a support plan. So I think that's probably quite an important piece piece to take up. And I think the other thing is we've increased our training for professionals as well, just to make them aware of their responsibilities around the Act, and constantly raising awareness and constantly encouraging professionals and other practitioners to refer sooner rather than later, to make carers aware of their right to a support plan in their own right.
Yeah, that preventative work's so important, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, and I think you mentioned earlier about the vast majority of carers you're working with, they don't actually reach the thresholds.
No.
They can access the supports that they actually need because they're sitting below the threshold.
It's just to know where to get that support from. So time and time again we hear carers saying, I didn't know that all this was here. We're actually really well served in the Borders, and there's lots of help and support out there, but I didn't know it was there. So it's just being able to provide that information and let them know that there is support out there for them and how to access it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Debbie, for sharing that. I'm sure lots of people will be really interested to hear how it's going.
Thank you.